Do you have some destinations in life that you're aspiring to go to? Now, mind you, when I say destinations, I'm not just talking about places around the world. I'm talking about places in life that you're trying to get to. Do you have some dreams, some goals, some aspirations that you want to achieve? Because if you do, then this message is for you. And if you have been going through maybe some setbacks, some delays, maybe some turbulence in your life, then you know what? I'm talking to you too. Because has anyone out there in the audience, has any of you all flown before? Y'all ever been on an airplane? You fly? Okay, I got some pictures. Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
So if you've ever flown before, you know when it's time to, when the pilot starts to descend, right? They come on and they'll say, prepare for landing. Now, when you hear that, that is the cue for the flight attendants to get everybody in there prepared because the destination is approaching quickly. So, tonight, as I talk to you about preparing for landing, I just want you to get in your mind the vision of what your destination is. What's that goal? What's that dream? What's that vision that you have that you know that's where you're trying to go? Because I was on a flight in May, and this is important because when I tell you about it, this was in May. May was one of them months, y'all, okay? I was on a flight. I was headed to Atlanta. And the pilot comes on and says, "Okay, everyone, we are beginning our descent into the Atlanta area. Our pilot tells us prepare for landing." Now, as we're preparing, you hear the flight attendants, they're coming through, they're saying, "Okay, guys, stow away your tables, put your electronic devices away, open up your windows." And then they're giving us all of these different directions as we prepare for landing. Now, on this flight, we had already been delayed for 2 hours because there were thunderstorms and tornadoes happening in the Atlanta area. So we were stuck in Houston for an extra 2 hours. But I want you to remember that all delays are not necessarily bad for you. We got closer to Atlanta. And so we start to descend. You can feel as the plane is going closer. The clouds got darker, y'all. We can hear the rain. And then the pilot comes on and says, "Okay, everyone, please make sure your seatbelts are fastened. We're about to experience some severe turbulence." And so, mind you, everybody's like, "Okay, okay, we got turbulence is coming." So I'm looking out the window and I can see the clouds get darker. Literally minutes before it was sunshine. Now darker clouds. We're literally in the clouds. The storm had already left, but this was kind of the remnants of what had already passed through Atlanta. The flight begins to rock. When I tell you, when you feel turbulence and you feel that drop, you're like, okay, this is getting ready to be a bumpy ride. So this is what they told us to make sure your seat belts are fastened. Brace yourselves because the turbulence is gonna bounce you around. Now, I could not see the ground because we were in the clouds. However, I knew that if I held on and I remained calm as we went through this turbulence, I stayed focused on getting to my destination. I didn't lose my emotions and all those things. Like y'all know, y'all might have seen on the news where sometimes people try to jump out the planes and doing crazy stuff, try to open the door. No, remained calm, braced myself. I looked out the window. I could see some of the ground now. The clouds started to open, the darkness started to fade away, and you could see we were coming in hot. When I say coming in hot, that means we were getting closer and closer to the ground, which was good. However, we were moving. When I say moving, you could see everything just. And so I was like, man, the closer we get to our destination, the faster everything was coming to us. So, guys, tonight, I want to remind you your destination is closer than you probably appear. And you may be going through some turbulence right now. You might be going through some rockiness, some bumps. But remember, stay calm, stay focused. Keep your eyes set on where you're trying to go. When I looked through the window, I didn't look at the dark clouds and say, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. No, I looked at the dark clouds and said, man, it was just sunshine. Okay, where the sun coming back? I'm looking for the sun, not focused on the darkness. Now, as you prepare for landing, I want to help you with some things in life. Because if you can't tell, this flight, I literally started writing this keynote on the plane. And I'm so honest with you because I was like, man, the thoughts came to my mind. This is like life. You go through some turbulent times in life. How many? Let me see. How many of you ever went through some storms in life? You ever went through some rough times? I see some yeses out there. This is the thing. If you ever are trying to get to a particular destination, it could be a new career, it could be reaching a goal, it could be in a relationship. It is sometimes gonna have some rocky days. Some days may be a little cloudier than others. But look, that turbulence is preparing you for the next level. It's preparing you for the next destination. So when they tell you to prepare for landing, this is what you got to do. When they say, put that tray table up, that is you getting things out of your way. Because guess what? It's almost time to get off. It's almost time to get off of this turbulent, rocky, bumpy plane and go on to our next destination. And think about it. You see the flight attendants, they'll start walking and what do they ask you? Do you have any trash? Can I take this from you? Because they're trying to clear any of the clutter, any of the things that are going to be in your area that might be stopping you or slowing you down from getting off when it's time to get to your next destination. And then they'll say, hey, raise your windows up. Because when you are approaching your destination, you want to be able to see where you're going, see where you're headed. And then they also come by and they say, okay, guys, make sure your seatbelts are fastened. Make sure you are in because this is what this plane did. I don't know. We were going down and we were bumping. And so the seatbelt was on, but we were still coming up out of our seats. So that seatbelt held us in place. So in life, we got to think about what are those things that keep you in place? What are those things that you need to hold on to that'll keep you focused, that'll keep you strapped in for when you get to your destination, you won't have as many bumps and bruises. Okay? Now, everyone, right now, I want you to think about that destination. I told you at the beginning, get that destination in your mind. Okay? Because another thing that happens when you get closer and when you're landing, the pilot will come on and they'll say, welcome to whatever your destination. We're excited that you made it here. Enjoy yourself. So I want you to think about what is the goal or the aspiration that you are trying to achieve. And you don't have to unmute. You can just say it to yourself. I want you to say it to yourself. Welcome to, for me, I'm going to put in being a multimillionaire. Yes, being a multimillionaire. Welcome to being a multimillionaire. I am excited that you have reached your destination. So practice that. Practice saying those things that are going to welcome you into that new destination. Now, before we landed, we couldn't just land like this. Let me tell you what we had to do. We had to circle. You know why we had to circle? We had to circle because the thunderstorm that had already came that caused us to be delayed, and I'm gonna come back to being delayed, that caused us to be delayed. The planes that were already there, they were not able to take off. So the planes that were still there, we were supposed to be landing in their place, but we couldn't land because they were still there. I want you to think about life. Sometimes you're trying to get to this next destination, but there's some things, some people, some situations that are still in your life, that are still in the way of you getting to your next destination. Tonight, I really, really want you to think about let's start with the people. Are some people that are in your way, that are still on that runway of your life to where it's either preventing you from getting to that destination or it's slowing you down from being able to land, and I could say on time. Because if those people are hindering you, if those people are getting in your way, those are some of the people we got to remove from our lives. Once you recognize that those people are not serving your purpose, they may not be, that doesn't mean you got to cut them off, but it might just be somebody that every time you talk about ascension and talk about going to another level, that person is saying, you always talking that getting better stuff. You always talk. If it's somebody like that, you don't need that person in your ear all the time. You need people that are going to be motivating you, supporting you. They're helping you get to that destination, helping you put on your seatbelt. Okay? And that way, once they move those planes out of the way, guess what? We could stop circling. We could land. Because sometimes in life, we keep circling and circling, and it's like a cycle. Whether it's finances, you good one day, you're not good the next day. It's like a season. You circling in relationships. You keep having good days, you have bad days, and it feels like you're never getting to the point that you're trying to be at. Remove those people or those things or whatever it is that's causing you not to be able to land. Replace them with people and things and places that are going to be more beneficial so that you can land. And then realign yourself. Because I thought about it. I thought about this plane. And if the plane was prepared to come straight in and to land, and now there's somebody in our spot, and it can't just land. That means it has to turn, it has to go around, it has to come. Once you remove the people or the things, now you can realign yourself so that you can line up with the runway so that you can land in the spot and at the destination that you're trying to get to. So if you feel like you've been just circling in life and it feels like you're not getting there, look at what keeps you circling. What is it in your life and how do you figure this out? And this just came to me. I want to help somebody tonight. If you realize and you see, hey, this person's been in my life and this person has not helped me get to where I'm trying to go, or this person's always pulling me back or pulling me down, that's going to be the people that you need to remove because that's what's making you continue to circle. And I want to help you get out of that pattern, get out of that cycle, break the cycle. Okay, I digress. I'm gonna keep going. And then some of you feel like you should already be there. Whether you feel like I should already have this dream house, I should already have this career, I should already be a professional speaker speaking on huge stages. If you feel that way and you feel like you've been delayed, I want to remind you about the delay. It was a 2-hour plane delay. And sometimes when you're delayed, you feel like it's a denial. But remember, delay does not mean denied. Because if we would have went on time to Atlanta, guess what I would have been in? I would have been in a huge, severe thunderstorm where streets were flooding, trees were coming down. That delay prevented me from having more problems later. Y'all, sometimes we are delayed because if we're not delayed, whatever that was might have swallowed us up. Whatever it is that we were going after, we may not have been prepared to receive it. Whatever it is that you feel like you are being delayed, you feel like you should already have it. I've been talking about being a multi-millionaire since before COVID. So that was before 2020. I know I've been talking about multi-millionaire status. But I also know if I would have became a multi-millionaire at least 5 years ago, I know I would have burned through that money and my mindset wasn't in the right mindset. I wouldn't have been using that money towards my purpose. I would have been using that money towards my pleasure. Just saying, because I know me. Okay, money gone, yes. But I have a renewed mindset now. My mind has been changed to the point where I still want to be a multimillionaire, but I have a different reason for it. I have a different motive for it because I've learned it's not just about me. It's about me having that money so that I could serve others. It's about me having that money so that I can be a blessing to others. I want to be blessed to be a blessing. Back then, nah, y'all. I'm just kidding. Okay. Delayed blessings are not always a bad thing. My plane was delayed for a reason. If I would have got there, and let me just tell you how this let me just give you the whole picture. The whole picture. 2 hours delayed. I was going there to help my daughter move out of her college dorm. She had to be out of her college dorm by a certain time. So my thoughts were, let me go up there a day early. We get up there, I had everything. I had the flight, the hotel, I had the truck, the storage, literally bam, bam, bam before I get there. So the 2 hour delay caused a lot of stuff to go get off track. So we get there, they give the truck away because I'm late. And so now I didn't have the truck to move her. But guess what? It was still raining a little bit in Atlanta. So if I would have had the truck, all of her stuff would have gotten messed up. So guess what they gave me instead? An SUV that was big enough to still fit her stuff in to help move her out. So sometimes delays don't always end up being bad for you. The hotel that I had booked, some reason the card, something happened with the card, so they gave our room away. Guess what? End up getting another room for a lower price in a better area. Guess what? That delay and that thing that I thought was a problem end up turning out to be something better for me. And then we were able to get her moved out on time. Everything still worked out, even though we were delayed to begin with. So I just want to remind you that delays don't always mean that it's not going to happen. Delays sometimes are meant for you to prepare yourself before you land at that next destination. Because if you don't take the time to prepare, you may end up with more problems. And as I get ready to wrap up, I want to tell you a little bit more. Preparing for landing is not just an analogy about an airplane flight that I took and things like that, but it's really about life because your destination is going to approach so quickly. Once you go through those storms, once you get past the turbulence, they say, and I heard this several times, like things are gonna come on my heels so fast that my head will be swimming. And I know it's scripture, and I know I just messed up the scripture, but that's okay. The Lord know my heart. Okay. So, but with that, you gotta get prepared because if you don't get prepared, once it gets here, oh man, let me tell you, you trying to get a business venture with someone, get prepared because once you are prepared and once you get through the storm, your destination is approaching faster than you actually know. And once you get there, you're going to have all types of businesses coming knocking at your door. You're trying to become a speaker, you're going to have people requesting you to speak. One person after the other. You're trying to get more. Somebody said they're doing business deals and they're getting grants. You're going to have grants after grants after grants coming at you. You're going to have people coming looking for you to do business with you because you have prepared yourself and you've gone through the storms, you've gone through the turbulence, and you made it. So get prepared because it's coming quickly. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know if Miss Sandra on here, but I'm just saying, like Miss Sandra Lucky, just saying. Now, remember this. When you are preparing, because I don't want to just come and give you some, oh, make you feel good without telling you how to prepare. First thing, you have to get your thoughts and what you really believe prepared. What are you thinking? What are you believing? Are you saying that you believe and then you really don't believe because you doubt the next day? Do you one day say, oh, I know I'm going to be a multimillionaire? The next day you say, man, I really don't see that happening. What are you thinking? What are you believing? Next, what are you speaking? What is coming out of your mouth? Are you thinking one thing and then speaking against it? Guess what? The universe is confused. The universe is saying, I thought you was wanting this. And then you're speaking this. So which way? What do you want me to do? So then the universe is like, okay, you don't know what you want? I guess we'll just wait. Know what you want. Believe it. Speak it. Act. What you do when preparing will also determine how quickly you get to your destination. Because if you know, and I'm just speak for myself, I know in order to be more visible, I need to be more visible, period. In order to get those goals and achieve those dreams, you have to do something. I don't mean to sound like I'm fussing. I feel like I'm in teach mode. But what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to get to your destination? What are you doing to prepare? When you go through the storms, do you throw in the towel? Are you that woman trying to jump out the plane just because it got rough and you trying to turn around because things got a little bumpy? Or do you stay steadfast in where you're trying to go and you do what you need to do? I'm talking to myself. I'm just saying, do you do what you need to do in or I'm telling y'all, do you stay steadfast? And then after you act, after you think it, you believe it, you speak it, you do and you act on it, you need to remember this. Control your emotions. You have to control your emotions, especially when things get rough. Especially when you're not sure, you can't see the ground. I couldn't see the ground when we was in those clouds. But I had to remain calm because I know me and I'm getting better. I can tell you, I didn't always be able to be this calm because I used to would go off and woo, But I know and I've learned when you don't remain calm and when you don't manage and maintain your emotions, that's when you do foolish things. That's when you do things that you look back later and you be like, "Oh, did I really do that?" Like, and then you might sometimes regret the things that you did because you did them out of emotion. So remain calm, okay? And then the last few points I want to leave you with. Take some notes. If you're a note taker, here's your note taking time. Here's your note taking time. Here's your points. I guess. Okay, here we go. Just like on the plane, the first thing they told us to do was to give us their trash. So the first thing I need you to do, you need to clean up your chaos, clean up your area, clean up your life, clean up your clutter. So I'm just gonna say, clean up. If you are in a cluttered area, your mind is cluttered. It is hard to be productive when you are not clear on what direction you're going. So throw that trash away. I did this. I promise y'all the other day I got up and I said, I need to clean up. And I just started cleaning up. When I cleaned up, I was like, I can work now. Clean up. Second thing, they tell you to put your cell phones up, put the tray up, clear out your distractions. Clear them out. That cell phone, this thing right here, it's a good, but it can be bad. If it's a distraction, get rid of it. If it's a distraction, put it to the side because those distractions will slow you down when it's time to get off that plane and go on to your next destination. Okay, so clean up, clear out your distractions. They say next, open your windows. The next thing I want you to say, I want you to remember is clearly see where you're going. Your destination is determined by what you decide you want it to be. Let me say that again. Your destination is determined by what you decide you want it to be. So you need to clearly see it. Open your window so you can clearly see where you're trying to land. All right. And then the last point for calmly go through whatever the situation is that you're going through. Because guess what? It's going to come where there's going to be some turbulence. How you get through it will determine how quickly you arrive at your destination. Now, I'm wrapping up. I promise. I'm wrapping up this time. That's by my third close, right? I'm okay. So, the last thing, when I tell you to remain calm, remaining calm is take a deep breath, assess the situation, look at it from a different perspective, and then keep in mind the circumstances. How you respond will determine your length of time to get to the destination or how you get to the destination. Do you want to get there all beat up and bruised or do you want to get there calm and relieved?
All right. Well, if there are no questions, if you would like to, I'm sorry, Mr. Phil.
Well, Tracy, you're over about a minute.
Tracy even had Ron over here raising his hands out about who's been through some stuff, and he had put his little hand in front of me. I'm like, "What you been through? 9 years, please." So we're moving to the next section of the evening. So for those of you who would like to just pour into Tracy, give her praise for what she did tonight, and I'll start first. Tracy, amazing job. Amazing job. When you said what was it? Delayed does not mean denied. I was like, come on, Tracy. And then, okay, so I call it the 4-step flight plan for life.
It's good.
Yeah. And I like those that I liked the 4 steps too, because yeah, you got to clean up because you can't move if you got clutter everywhere. If my room is a mess, my brain is a mess. And then clear out your distractions. Get rid of the stuff. Like, hey, that's distracting you. Move to the side. Clearly see where you're going. Rose-colored glasses. Go ahead, get rid of the rose color. Get you some clear ones so you can see better. Open up the windows, let the light in, and then calmly go through whatever the situation is that you are going through. Because when you say, yeah, who responds by reactions? Yeah, the emotions, that used to be me. And, maybe a couple of days after, I've calmed down, I'll be like, man, I probably shouldn't have done it that bad. I kind of, maybe I did go a little too far, my bad.
I feel you. I feel you.
So maybe I did a little too much, I apologize. My fault. I'm sorry. I was mad. What can I say? But no, amazing job. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Okay, now the floor is open for whoever else would like to pour back into Tracey. The floor is open.
Michael,
Yes, ma'am.
I love how you related just a flight to everyday life, and it really applies to the stuff that we go through in our everyday lives. So good job, kudos there. And I liked your story. It was very relatable. Like all people got problems, so I could relate.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool.
Tracey. I've never been a wine drinker, but I can say that you're like a wine. You just continue to get better and better with time. It's you know what I'm saying? It's like wine, even though I've never drank it. But I'm just gonna assume that it's really, really good because I know people drink it. But absolutely amazing. And I'm a visual person. So when you were talking, I was like, yeah, I could just see it because of course I've flown before. But I was ready to cue up the organ when you said that delayed does not mean denied. I was almost ready to pass out for a minute there. I was like, Lord, I was like, she hit me. Because sometimes you want to rush the whole process, but it's in the rushing that you end up somewhere that you don't necessarily need to be. So I really appreciate your keynote. You did absolutely amazing. And keep going, girl. I can't wait to see your name in lights. I'm gonna go and see her. I'm getting my tickets. I'm gonna sit front row. Keep going,
I
girl.
received that. That's my destination. Yes. Thank
Right.
you.